Hello and welcome to another episode of Chatting with the Experts, where I speak with amazing and phenomenal women from Africa, from the Caribbean, and in the diaspora. Today's topic is how to get out there and get known. In other words, how to get media coverage and stand out online to get clients. My guest is a powerhouse publicist, podcaster, and publisher of Speakers Magazine, where she transforms emerging and best selling authors, experts, and entrepreneurs into standout stars. She is the genius behind the scenes, positioning, packaging, and promoting top speakers, authors, brands, and subject matter experts because she is the CEO of PamPerryPR.com. And with that, I want to welcome Pam Perry to Chatting with the Experts. Welcome,
Here.
welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am amazing. Couldn't be better. How are you?
Good, good. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I know I left out pieces of your bio because everybody who I invite to the show has such an impressive bio,
They
and
could
yours.
Google it, Paula. They could Google it. It's like it's not important. Let's get into this conversation. Like they could just like it doesn't even matter like who I am. It's like, what is she gonna tell me?
Well, I know you're a powerhouse podcaster like me. And well, when I say podcaster like me, I'm not a powerhouse podcaster, you are. But you're here
I'm
to
just
talk
doing it
about
alone.
PR. We are
Yeah.
here to talk about PR. Let's talk about that, Pam.
Yeah. So public relations in terms of media coverage, it's a whole gamut of things. PR is really one spoke in the wheel for marketing. So before people can even buy from you, they have to be aware of you. So that's where PR comes in.
All right. I always hear about, people talk about, well, they mix up sometimes media and branding and public relation. Break that down, please, because, it's so confusing now where we have so much out there to choose from. But I know there's more to what you're doing than what people think.
They all fit together. So, yes, it is true that PR, media, public relations can be a lot of different things. It could be crisis communications, it could be public relations in terms of what it is a person is doing on stage, what is your PR positioning. And then also, you can't really get PR or media coverage unless you have a brand. So when I say you have a brand, you have a platform, you have what people think about you. So if you were to pitch, say Oprah, and they'll say, well, what is their hook? What is their angle? What is their brand? They're going to Google you. And basically, that Google is your North Star about how you stand, how the media is going to look at you, because Google doesn't lie, right? So they want to see what it is that you have that other assets, whether it's your speaker reels, your podcast, whether you've been featured in online magazines like Madame Noir, or you've been in Essence magazine, or if you've been in Time magazine. They want to see the digital footprint that you have, and that all kind of blends together your brand. Once you have a brand, it's easy then to pitch you to the media because they don't ever want to bring anybody brand new to their platform. They want some kind of cachet in your name, some kind of little bit of notoriety in your name. So that's really where that is. And then marketing is the whole thing like, well, why do you want to have PR? Because you want to either sell a book, get people to an event, subscribe to something, get them in some kind of action. And so I always say it goes with the whole AIDA: awareness, interest, desire, and action. This is something I learned in college. Awareness, meaning like getting people aware of you, then getting them interested in you, then desiring what it is that you want them to do, and then finally taking action. So that's the AIDA method. It's an old, I just remember that from steps from way back. But the hardest thing today is getting awareness, getting people to give you their attention.
Even with all what we have, I mean, now this is not
It's
like 20
noisy.
years ago.
It's very noisy now. We have too many things, too many choices. It's very noisy. Before, it was like, okay, we have like TV stations, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then televisions went off, I think, probably at midnight. Right now, we have it's 24 hours, it's 7, and we got streaming, we got Plus. television, we have Tubi, we have YouTube, we have so many options. We have Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. And so people really can watch what they want to watch when they want to watch it. So I just like to just thank anyone who's watching right now, because time is a very big commodity. It's the most expensive thing. And so I just appreciate people who do give their time really watching something, because there's a million other choices, a million other things that they could be watching on their phone, on their tablet, on their laptop. So it is the number one thing, getting attention. That's why TikTok took off so fast, because it was very big on getting people's attention.
Yes. So how do you transform, like someone that's doing, one of the things that I've noticed is that you transform emerging. So if someone's emerging, they should come to you as an author,
Not,
as an expert.
yeah,
When I
not
say to
really.
you,
Yeah,
like,
not really. I don't do PR. Like, I don't do publicity for people who are emerging. I help
okay,
people get to the point where they are going to need a publicist.
got you.
So a lot of times people say, oh, well, if I just get a publicist, it will help. Well, a publicist then has to help you with maybe your website, helping you with your photos, helping you get together your offers, all of those things that lead up to, like, okay, a publicist. Like, I'm working with someone who has done marketing, not marketing, but someone who has done work with Jill Scott and Issa Rae and Will Smith and that sort of thing. She already has a brand. So basically, I can call TV and radio stations and say, hey, let's book her. Okay. She has a brand already. She has a name. She's been out there. Versus someone who's just starting, it's hard to really sell them in because they're just starting. But in order to be sold in, you have certain things that you need, steps that you need to get ready, set, go, and speak. So I tell people, I said, in order to get ready, one of the things you got to get your mindset right. You got to understand what it is you want to do, what is your offering, all that kind of thing. Set phase, getting the assets together, professional headshots, even if you're going to be doing Zoom, professional camera, getting your lighting together, all those things, speaker reel, speaker media kit, press release, that's the set phase. And then go how to pitch. Who do you pitch to? What do you say? What are some of the things? And then speaking on stages, what that's involved, how to really pull that together, because then it's a whole nother thing that people have to do. So there's two sectors of people who need to work with the publicist, but they need to get ready. So I have like a program for that. And then those that are really ready. And then I work with them, getting them booked into the main places where they need to be, whether it's Oprah, Essence, or online publication, whether it's The Root, those kind of things, depending on their platform of what is, how to match them to the media that makes sense for them. And that's where a lot of people don't have clarity. So then they have to go and like, let's work with where you're going, because if you don't have clarity, then I can't book you. So the publicist doesn't say, well, what do you do? Let's figure this out for you. The publicist wants to just pitch you and get you on. Where someone else who doesn't have that clarity, they have a whole lot of work to do. That's kind of like a fallacy. People like, oh, I just need a publicist to work that out. It's like, I don't have a magic wand to really do all that for you. Okay. It's just like, I try to help you, but the magic is not in the magic wand. It's really like getting clarity first, the foundational things.
Got you. So listening to you, so you would work adjacent with someone who could, like a coach, for example, who would help that person get clarity with where they want to go. And then once they have that clarity, then you can work with them.
Yeah. Once they have the clarity and the assets.
And the assets, of course. Okay. All right. Got you. And then
They
you
need
can,
assets.
all right. So a question for you. So do you do things like, well, maybe not, because I was going to say like personality, the personality testing and so on. That's not you because
Yeah, at a certain point in time, they come already ready and they're an
okay.
expert already. They just need packaging. So the packaging and the promotion is what a publicist would do, help you with. So a lot of times publicists will work with stylists, because sometimes people need an entire brand. So it's not like, oh, I'm gonna run out and do a photo shoot. Okay, well, I put together, I have in my Ready, Set, Go a brand photo shoot planner, because a photographer can only take pictures based on what you come up with and what you say you want to use these photos for. So photo shoot planner will talk about poses and the kind of props that you may need, the kind of colors that go with your brand, maybe background, maybe behind the scenes photos of you, maybe in action at work on the stage. So it's all inclusive. So when you're doing a photo shoot, It's not just like, oh, just get a photographer out there. But that's part of the PR of it, because we need those photos. You're going to spend 2 or 3 hours with the photographer. We're going to need those photos. You're going to need your makeup, your hair, your styling, all of the things, the props, whether you have a magic wand or you have a prop of a microphone, if you're going to be a podcaster, that kind of thing. So props that I tell you that you need to bring. That's what the whole holistic thing about a publicist that can work with you, because you have that clarity. So then it's like, okay, these are the things that we need. But the foundation of it is just getting in that ready phase. And also too, when someone starts getting a lot of PR, they can expect some things to change, how people see them, and then also how they see themselves as well.
That's important, because they're two different angles. How people see them and how they see themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if someone sees themselves, say I may book them on a Times Square, a billboard.
A billboard.
And they go and they see themselves. It's a different way where other people are seeing them, but also it translates like how they see themselves now. Wow. Yeah, I have arrived. I really am what I say I am. So those are the kind of things when I put people in. I remember I have one client that I had on a billboard in Detroit, in a big, large billboard. And she was just flabbergasted driving down the street one day and seeing herself on that billboard. She's like, oh my God, that's me. And, I see it in people anyway for them, but now for them to see them themselves is really transformational for me, having them see themselves like that. Or even just the cover of a magazine. Sometimes people say, oh, I see, the cover of the magazine, Melody, she was also on the Times Square. She saw herself on the Times Square as well. And it just translated how she saw herself. Now, she was a business person, she was a coach, but now seeing herself more like that celebrity CEO is really kind of funny to see people see themselves now as that. I was like, yeah, that's what you are now.
So another person or another professional you probably have to have in your toolkit would be like this may sound out of may sound out of the world, out of this world, is like a therapist. Someone to now tell them, okay, now you're at this point. This is how you need to walk in that. Because you may see yourself like, okay, this is the point you want to get to. But it's like when you get there now, is how to now walk in that limelight.
It is. That's a big, big part of it. I will tell people I'm a publicist, not a therapist, but you may need a therapist after working with a publicist, because there's some things, the mental things that go on. And one of the things is that there's a saying that says, oh, don't believe you're believing your own hype, because they said publicists hype you up. We're supposed to put your best foot forward. We put out the hype, all those things. But at the end of the day, we're still the same people. We're regular people, but the publicist puts out the hype for you. You don't live in the hype. The hype is just what we do. You don't live in the hype. So don't believe the hype. You're not going to be in the hype state all the time. You're not always going to be on the billboard all the time. You're not always going to be on the cover of the magazine all the time. So I always tell people, I said, do not take this literally. It is just what we do. And that is just for that moment, because you're only as good as the next PR outlet hit. So yeah, you could be great today. Don't live in that, because people forget it tomorrow. Yeah, that's why people have to do PR all the time, because it's one media hit to the next.
That's reality. That's the world.
It's ING, and it's marketing. It's ING. It's not just like, oh, I market it once. Okay, well, we got to keep doing it. McDonald's does marketing all the time. Ford Motor Company markets all the time. Even though we know those brands, it's something that we have to do all the time. And so you have to find a new twist, new angle, new way of getting refreshed in front of an audience that is like, oh yeah, I heard about them. Okay, well, no, this is new. This is different.
And now that brings me to a question about Speakers Magazine. That's how I got to know about you. Tell me more about that.
So I started it because a lot of magazines would not feature my clients. So I said, okay, instead of waiting to be asked to the table, create our own table. And that's what Speakers Magazine was. So I basically put together a magazine where Les Brown's been on the cover, Kim Cole's, those kind of people, and then people in between that you haven't heard of that are really amazing speakers, but they have to hold events. They hold signature events. And those are the people that are on the cover. People who are on the cover have signature events, and the magazine is circulated at their events, given to people at their events. In between, other speakers that go along with that theme. If it's leadership, then people who speak on leadership are in that magazine. If it's about wealth building, then people who talk about wealth are in that magazine. September is our magazine for self-improvement month. So people who are therapists or people who help other people improve their lives, that's the theme of that magazine. On the cover is Mike Wynn. He has a book launch coming out. He does events. Those are the kind of things. August is a magazine that's going to be at Martha's Vineyard. Those are the people at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival. So people who are interested in that field. But it's so many. I've been doing it 10 years. It's so many amazing speakers. And they're on the website, speakersmagazine.com. They're in the physical issue, whether they're in the physical issue or they are in the issue, what I call like the online issue. The online issue online, not the website, but the online issue have speakers reels embedded into there. Because so many times people say, well, I don't know how to find a speaker. Well, here's Speakers Magazine. Go online, watch their speaker reel, and you can book people here. Inside the magazine is like who they are, what they do, what are their speaking topics. And then their reels are there so you can hear it. A reel is like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So Speakers Magazine's run into 10 years. The last 4 years, we've done Speak, Sell, Shine to help people get their speaker reels together, their photos and all of that. So yeah, I'm excited about this because this is where so many people, Letitia Nicole speaks every week now. She's speaking every week. She's been on the cover 3 times. She holds events and that sort of thing. She has books, but it's a way where the general media may not have picked her up. So we pick it up. Sanita's another one. She's in the Washington, D.C. area, but she has a wonderful story. And she speaks, and she's speaking, I think at the Urban League is where she's speaking at their national conference. And she just has been doing really, really well. But again, the traditional media would not pick up those kind of things. Yolanda, another one. She launched her book and launched an event. Again, this kind of like helped set her on the map of where she's going. People who were in here were speakers, other speakers that were at her conference. So she had a conference, and then within this were other people who were at her conference. So that was really the whole point of it. And I made it this size because I missed Jet. If anybody remember Jet, it was Ebony magazine, and then there was Jet, and Jet was like the small size, the pocket size. And that was the size I wanted to make it easy to carry, easy to consume.
Okay, all right. Ooh, all right. Thanks for explaining what that's about. I saw your face light up, and I knew I had to bring that up.
Yeah. I have a ton of them over here. I have a ton of them. This lady here is doing so well. She's in the DMV area, and she has a YouTube channel. Oh my God, Wybitra had just really started speaking. As soon as she was on the cover, she started speaking at a group called Women's Ministry Groups and Women in Government. She started speaking, and she's just on fire. She just needed exposure. That's really what it is. I wanted people to just get out there and get known. That's really the whole point. They were already good. They just needed to be on other platforms.
On other platforms. And that's part of what you do. You say you work hard to get your clients, help your clients brand and get paid like a superstar. And that's what you do. You get them, get exposed, get exposure, get paid, which is important, and so that they can continue to do what they're passionate and good at doing. And, get other people out there aware, because as you said, AIDA, awareness, desiring, interest, and action.
Yes, yes. They have to have awareness, and they have to be interested, then they have to desire it, and then they have to take the action. So it's AIDA. It is definitely
AIDA, Mr.
Yeah, that is so, so key. Every touch point of your brand is something where people are looking at and, lack of a better word, judging. And it can be something as simple as your Zoom camera, something as simple as your voicemail message. Sometimes you'll just say, well, I didn't set up my voicemail message. Well, no, leave that voicemail message when people call if they don't get you. Make it exciting. Make it so that they know a little bit more about you. Drive people to your website. Hey, I'm not here right now, but go to PamPerryPR.com. You can download my free ABC, and then in the next 48 hours, I'll get back to you.
I love that.
But at this point in time, at least they know what they can do in the meantime.
I love that. And that's a simple thing to do.
Yeah, everybody has voicemail.
Everybody's got, for now, right? At
Yeah,
least for now.
yes.
Yeah. Ooh, I could talk with you forever, but I'm looking at the time. So for those who have joined us and those who are listening later on or viewing this on YouTube, how can they get in touch with you?
PamPerryPR.com. That is where they'll find all the things, everything. And I even have it at the bottom of my screen here on the Zoom. I always tell people too, that's a little trick. I said, you know, sometimes you can just put in your name, but sometimes put in your website because people are staring at these little boxes and they're just staring and staring. Stare, let them stare, and then let them have them go somewhere and do something. So PamPerryPR.com is right there on there. It's a branding touch point. And then once you're, obviously if they go to the website is good, it'll convert, meaning that people will take an action there. You know, whether they connect with you, or they download something free, or they buy. You know, and I always tell people, I said, have a buy button on your website. That's kind of like the point.
Love it. I need to change mine. I just have my name. So look to self. And for those of you who are listening online or those who've joined us, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, just like PamPerry.pr.com. And that's how I found her, actually. I was on LinkedIn and I saw her and I was like, PamPerryPR.com.
PR.com.
Yeah, I reached out to her and I asked her and she said, yep. So if you'd like to be a guest on my show without me having to go to LinkedIn, reach out to me on my website, which is chattingwiththeexperts.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, and my business page there is Chatting with the Experts. On Instagram, you can find me, and my handle is at chat_experts_podcast. I am also on Facebook, which is chattingwiththeexperts.com, and on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel, which is chattingwiththeexperts.com. And there you'll be able to listen to this interview if you missed it. That is, if you're not in the audience, and all of the other phenomenal women who have shared their expertise just like she did with you. And now, for those of you who are in the audience, join us and ask her all the questions that I have not remembered to ask her or totally skipped my mind. Thank you, Pam, for being a guest on Chatting with the Expert. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Paula. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.